Hello everybody, Jason Levine, the Gaming Machine. I'm here with my top 10 of 2023 to end the year in a good note. So for me, it was a very good year of games. Last year, my top game was Blood on the Clock Tower, which is very different than the games I usually like. It was a social deduction game. This year, there's lots of good Euro games, lots of games that's my style. So we'll see where my top 10 ends up. There's a couple games I haven't played. I just want to talk about them first because I always, you don't get to play everything. So I didn't get to play Among Cultists, which I know Tom really enjoyed. The Fox Experiment, which everyone at the office enjoyed. Ticket to Ride Legacy, the Legends of the West. I didn't get to play that yet. And Mr. President, which is a solo game, which I was really excited about. My number 10 game is Empire's End. This one is by John D. Clare, and it is a kind of you have a cards out of different areas, and then you have to bid in kind of a no thanks style to not lose the card and get it destroyed. But if you do get it destroyed, you get kind of a special power to add to a different card. So you're going between trying to destroy buildings, but not too many, and making sure you have enough bidding chips in that no thanks style in order to get a nice empire at the end of the game that will score a lot of points. I really enjoy this game, and it is my number 10. My number 9 is one I just played recently. I played this with Tom and Chris and Joey, and it might be on their list as well. It's called Flip Town. Roll and writes, they're not so much my thing because there's so many of them, but this one did very unique things. It's a flip and write, and the cards are poker cards, and you have to decide which cards you use and which card you keep left over to make a poker hand. And the better your poker hand is, you get bonuses for. So it gives you really good choices, and if everything bounces into everything else, so you could really fill up a lot of your score pad board as you're going. So that's my number 9. My number 8 is also a game I played recently with that exact same group. We just did a live play of it actually during our Tuesday night marathons, and it's Apiary. I always like Teotihuacan, and Apiary is kind of a spiritual successor to the game, but obviously a very different theme, very different mechanics in terms of what you're getting. But I really like the getting your bees to level up, to then have them go away and get the bonuses when they get to level 4. I really, really, really enjoy this game, and that's Apiary. My number 7 game is a 2-player game. It's one that I played 2 years ago, the first time I got to play a demo of it, and now it's actually released, and I really love this game. It's called Sky Team. This one, you're a pilot and a co-pilot, and you roll dice, and you don't know what your partner's dice is, and you have to put dice on the board to lower the flaps of the plane, to lower the landing gear, to get the brakes ready, to get other planes out of the way, and you have to come in on the perfect angle and land your plane at the same time. There's lots of expansions, lots of cool things, and this is a game that, if you like 2-player games, this is a game that you should definitely go look for, Sky Team. My number 6 is another John D. Clare game. This one is called The Last Kingdom. Usually, I don't like games based on an IP, but this game is based on the Netflix series, which I actually haven't seen, but it is so good. It reminds me of Blood Rage. I had asked him about it, and he said that he took inspiration from Blood Rage, and he took inspiration from another game. I forget what the other one was, but he took inspiration from 2 games, and one was Blood Rage. And this, obviously, the Saxons are invading England, and you're trying to have influence in different territories. So it's a very area control, medium weight game, and I really enjoy the way this game is. It's The Last Kingdom. So before I get to the top 5, there's some games that I didn't put in. I usually don't like to put games that are either redone, reskinned, or expansions. But there's a bunch of them that I did enjoy this year, such as Age of Innovation, which is kind of the spiritual successor to Terra Mystica. Point City, which, as you know, I loved Point Salad, and Point City is just as good. The Search for the Lost Species, I love Planet X, and Lost Species is great as well. So if you like the one, you definitely want the other one. Thunder Road Vendetta, another one that Restoration Games always does great games. And speaking of them, Unmatched Adventures Tales to Amaze. Although it's different than Unmatched because it's co-op now, just as good a system, and you get to fight the system. Let's get to my number 5. It's not only a newly designed game, but it's a new designer. And this designer happens to be one of my best friends here at the Dice Tower. It's Roy, and the game is Last Light. Roy showed me this game probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I played it with him, and he said, I've got this big 4X game that's going to be like Twilight Imperium. And I played it and I said, no, this is like Concordia and Mission Red Planet. You have this great Euro mechanism. And he was like so mad at the time. But honestly, all the accolades that Last Light is getting right now, Roy deserves all of it. This game is amazing. If you like the tension of, do I play cards? Which card do I play? And then when you pick up your cards, even in games like Aquatica that does it, Roy does it to perfection with a nice area control map as well. Last Light is my number 5. My number 4 is one that I had seen a while ago, but it just got released at Essen. And I have a feeling this is on Tom's list too. I haven't seen his list, but I have a feeling it's on it. It's called Path of Civilization. So the old owners of Repos Games just sold it off to Asmodee and started a new company. The new company is called Captain Games, and this is their first big release, Path of Civilization. And it is, as I call it, if you had Seven Wonders meets Through the Ages, and they had a baby. So it's not quite the playing time of Through the Ages, and it's not as short as Seven Wonders, but you take the mechanics of the two of them combined, and it is the best Civilization game I've played in years. That's my number 4, Path of Civilization. My number 3 is a game that came out early in the year. Pretty early. I think it was like February when this game came out. And at the time I said, it's going to be the Terraforming Mars Killer. And seeing the way things are going, I think it has been for this year, and that's Earth. It's basically lots of cards. You're going to be building out a tableau. As you do, you're using different resources to collect more cards, to then play them out, to do this whole engine where when you pick a certain action, all the things trigger off. It is a wonderful game. It's one that all of these games in my top 5, I think, have a chance for Game of the Year. But I think Earth is, people might have forgotten about it because it came out so early in the year, but Earth is one of the best games of 2023. My number 2. So Tom came and said, I found this really good game. I'd love to make it a Dice Tower Essential. And it turns out that when he went to Arcane Wonders, they said, we already signed the game with Arcane Wonders, and it is World Wonders. This game is phenomenal. Tom played it. He loved it. I played it. I loved it. I've now, because I'm usually at the Arcane Wonders booth, but they're our partner with Dice Tower Essentials, I've taught the game hundreds of times, played it probably 40 to 50 times this year. And I love the action point selection drafting. I love the polyomino city building with the rules of how to build your city. I love the scoring. World Wonders is just amazing in every way, shape, and form. And it is a game that if you haven't played it yet, you need to get it and play it. That's my number 2, World Wonders. So before I get to my number 1, I just want to talk about a few games that I enjoyed that did not make my top 10, but they're pretty close. Disney animated For those of you who like co-op games, it is a wonderful game, wonderful family level co-op game. And I think it's one that's worthy of playing. Hickory Dickory, it's got this programmed movement thing where you're jumping onto a clock, jumping off of a clock. I really, really enjoyed the game, and I think you will too. Horseless Carriage. Horseless Carriage is a heavy splatter game, but it is wonderful. It's long. Expect a long game, but it's another one that I recommend. Nucleum. It's kind of Barrage meets Age of Steam with pick up and deliver through different areas. And Nucleum is another one. And then a small little game called Triqueta, which kind of is Colorado Zularedo mechanics, but taken in a different way and with a twist. Triqueta is another one that, if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And last but not least, for those who like solo games, Freaky Frogs from Outer Space is a pinball solo game, and it's the most realistic pinball game I've ever played. It really feels like you're playing pinball. There's multi-balls, there's everything. There's ramps, and you do it all. But for now, let me talk about my number one game of the year. Interestingly enough, I didn't expect to have this game at number one. I played it, and I wasn't sure how I felt, mostly because of the style of game it is. But I'm hooked now, and I play it all the time, and that's Disney Lorcana. And for me, it's weird to put a CCG game where you have to go out and buy tons and tons of booster packs to get all the cards as number one. But Disney Lorcana is amazing. I mean, I'm a Disney fanatic. I have a season pass. I go with Joey all the time to Disney with Joey and his daughter. We go and we have a good time. So putting the Disney theme onto a CCG was genius. And I'm always like, it feels like Pokemon. I got to collect them all. And I'm like, I need that Beast card, and I need that Bell card, and I need that Honey Wizard, and I want the pins, and I want everything, and I love it. And it's a fun game too. The game is kind of in the style of Keyforge or other games like that, where you could either attack the other person or you could go for points, and you have to do a combo of both in order to get to your 20 points to win. But if you're looking for one CCG to get into, I highly, highly recommend Disney Lorcana, which is my number one game of the year. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing about some of the games I like, and you'll get to hear about the games that everyone else likes as well during this week. And for now, we're looking forward to even more great stuff for 2024, and hopefully an even better top 10 list. But this year has been great. 2023 has a lot of good games. And for the Dice Tower, this is Jason Levine, the Gaming Machine, with my top 10 of 2023.